Hey everybody, welcome back to the Weekly Slimefun Update with your host Boomer, and today we have a lot of things to discuss, a lot of new features and multiple add-ons, as well as some updates, so let's get right to it. We're going to start first in core, the Bioreactor. Now, if you've got a lot of crops early on, this is a nice, relatively affordable reactor to get going. It's 3 new fuels have now been added. You can now use beetroot seeds, cocoa beans, and beetroot are 3 new fuels that have been added to the bioreactor. A few days ago, I did a tutorial on the new networks add-on from Cephy. Just to make sure, if I didn't say this in the last video, I don't think I did, you need to be on Infinity Expansions version 128 or higher to have full integration, meaning all of your deep storage units, your basic, your advanced, reinforced, void, infinity, all of the infinity expansion storage units. In order to use void access on the networks, you do have to be to at least dev 128 of infinity expansion. Additionally, there's been a fix for infinity expansion that I think everyone is going to be very happy with. So a number of people, myself included, had experience where we had placed down basic storage units, run them for a bit, upgraded them to advanced or any other version, and they would revert back to basic, or simply you would right click it and nothing would happen. That has now been fixed. I got to say that working with Riley on the server I play on, we've tested it repeatedly, and so far everything seems to be working. So thank you so much, Riley, for that. All right, we're going to switch over now to FnFal's Amplifications. A number of new items have been added within this plugin. So we have a number of bow quivers that have been added to allow you to either hold normal or spectral arrows. Really nice new little feature. As far as cost-wise, a little bit, but you know what? I don't have a big issue with it because if you're talking about spectral arrows at this point, yeah, that's very affordable and doable. I don't see an issue with this at all. All right. In addition to that, you can now make, in the config YML, you can make gears unbreakable. So if you are, try this again. There we go. So these gear parts can now be made unbreakable. If you go into the config YML, you do have to delete it, restart your server, and let a new config file be created. Any new gears you craft will now be able to be made unbreakable. Okay, but it's only going to be the new ones, and you got to make sure you delete the old config YML first so you generate the new config file. In addition, there are 6 new staffs of which you see in my inventory. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to bring a creeper in here just to mess around with. So the first one, Staff of Hellfire. Wherever I happen to right-click within that radius, any mob that's in there will stay on fire for the time that they are in there, up to 8 seconds. If they get out of the radius, then of course the fire stops. So all of these staffs to start with have 10 uses. And I did not check, my apologies, I believe they are configurable within the config YML. All right, Staff of Deep Freeze. So instead of putting them on fire, you can now damage them, and look at it, you can get them to shake, and they walk much slower as they're trying to get out of the deep freeze. I had a villager come by as well, and he shook and took damage, and he stopped moving at a faster speed. You could clearly see when they were walking. So same thing here, with inside that radius for 8 seconds. Staff of Confusion. This one could be really fun as a prank on somebody else, because now he doesn't know which way he's facing, doesn't know where he's going. He may, by dumb luck, get out. We'll confuse him some more. And we'll confuse him some more. And maybe some more. So a nice little prank. I'm apparently right on the edge yet. Let's go in there. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, now I see why it's a Staff of Confusion. Pretty awesome. Okay. Moving on to the Staff of Gravitational Pull. So this will pull a mob into the center of the area where you spawn it. And it will lock them in there for that 8 seconds. So if you need a chance to run away, boom, there you go. We'll go ahead and join Mr. Creeper. Up, since it's already done, we'll spawn it back up. There we go. So I'm trying to walk out of here, and I can't. I'm in creative mode, and I'm trying to walk, and I can't. So I could fly out of there, but I couldn't walk. Okay, the other two they have left. The Staff of Stallion. This will spawn a skeleton horse that you can ride until you dismount it. Once I dismount this horse, Mr. Skeleton no longer exists. As you can see, he's completely gone. And finally, this has probably got to be my favorite, the Staff of Force. You can push forward or shift right click to spawn a different cloud that can give backwards force. So I want to give this guy, let's say, knockback 20, right? We'll just spawn this. Boom. He got forced way away. I can shift right click, spawn a backwards one. So if I need to retreat in the middle of a PvP battle, or if I want to kick him away, I can do either one. Now, if I do it right, I had it earlier where I was able to bounce him back and forth. Nope, he kicked away. Oh, I know what it was. You could also kind of use this as quick traveling. And granted, it's for a very short period of time. But if you do it right, you could almost pick up. But you only have so many uses until it's gone. So probably not the best method for traveling. But, again, if you need to get out quickly and you don't have ender pearls, it is an option. All right, guys, so we're back here with Crystamae Historia, and we got a ton of new items to talk about. First is the connecting compass. Let's say you're out going through the world gathering resources, and you find a cave that you want to come back and explore. While holding the compass, shift right click, and it will allow you to set a name for the location. So we'll call it cave entrance, right? Because we're going to come back later and check it out. So I go out, I do all my resources gathering, I'm all done. Okay, now I'm going to go back and explore that cave. If I right click it, I get a red visual trail that leads me back to where that location was. I can just keep right clicking it to get me back there, get me back. And hey, oh, there's that cave entrance. Great. Now I can go digging for resources. Pretty nice. Next, we've got 4 different exalts we want to talk about that will go onto the exaltation stand. We have the Exalted Dawn, Dusk, Sun, and Storm, and they all have to be crafted at certain times of day. The Dawn has to be crafted during day, Dusk at night, Sun during a clear day, and Storm during an actual thunderstorm. So we're going to start by setting the time tonight, and we're going to put on the Dawn Exalt. Now, in about a second or two, we get an area where it would appear to be daytime, right? It's actually 25 blocks in every direction on every axis. So the X, Y, and Z, 25 blocks in each direction. If I were to get more than 25 blocks away, as soon as the program figures I'm that far out, we get to see that it actually is nighttime. And this will stay up here until you either remove it by right-clicking on it, or 5 minutes have gone by and the item has despawned. Next is going to be the Exalted Dusk. You might already figured out what this one could do. We'll set time back to day. Nope, time set. Okay, so now that it's daytime, we'll make it night. Now, even though Mr. Skeleton jumped in there, let's summon a skeleton just to prove that it is still daytime. Again, it's an absence of light. We're not making it nighttime. We're simply taking 25 blocks in every direction and making it dark out. Not night, simply dark. All right, we have 2 more. We've got the sun and the storm. So for the sun, we're going to set weather to thunder. And this one will actually remove the storm. So if it is storming outside and you just don't want to see it anymore, you can simply place this one down. Or to make the weather clear, and just to make sure it is daytime, the Exalted Storm can actually bring on a storm. Right? You want to mess with somebody and say, hey, why is it raining out? It's thundering. And you're actually hanging out in the clear weather. All 4 of those are pretty cool features. All right, so let's move on. We have a couple of new items that we're going to talk about additionally called the Displacers. Now, I haven't tested on a lot of mobs yet. Oh, we got a cave spider. We're able to actually change which mob we're facing. So let's do this. Let's summon a squid. Ooh, glow squid. Cool. Actually, that one I did test, but I haven't tested too many. What about a skeleton? Oh, turns into, I think that's a stray. So we can change some things. I haven't found any blocks that do it yet, just mobs. You're going to have to play around to figure out what options you can and can't do. So there's the arcane displacer, which does it 500 times, or the simple one, which does it 50. So far, I've only seen items or mobs that change that are in the same world. So, but I haven't tested every possible mob yet. So have some fun with that, see what you can find out. There's now also something called powdered essence, which can be used 250 times as bone meal. I think this is pretty cool, and I could actually see myself using this in place of bone meal. It's one bone meal in a minimal amount of crystals. To get 250 uses, if I'm right-clicking diamond or netherite plants, I might just go ahead and do this, simply because it's 250. I mean, that's 63 bones in an ore grinder, a stack of bones. That's a lot of time either out in the real world or sitting on top of a mob spawner, even with looting. Nice little tool. Additionally, for those of you who have ever watched Hermitcraft and seen, let's see, I'm trying to think, who is the master? No, it's not False Symmetry. It's one of the other ladies. Darn it, I can't remember. But anyway, she's awesome with armor stands. You now have the ability to do a lot of the same things that the armor stands do for their plugin. When you've placed this down, you have a pose changer wand that will help you, and I need to switch over to survival. Pose this any way you want. So to start with here, let's get a little out of my inventory. Let's give me a player head, right? We'll give myself a player head. Let's give myself some diamond armor here, diamond chest plate. Let's do some leggings, and of course boots. All right. So we can maneuver him or her any way that you want. By left clicking, we can change which selected body part we want to move. So right now I can move the body, left arm. Let's start with the right arm. Then if I shift left click, I can change the axis in which we're looking at, whether it's X, Y, Z, or I want to reset the arm to its default position. Simply then, now once we've got the part of the armor stand that we want to use and which direction we're going to do, right click will then apply it to the positive axis. Shift right click will apply it to the negative axis. All right, so we're going to make sure we are on. There we go. You can see it slowly moving. The right arm is actually rotating outwards. I'll come at this angle, maybe make it a little bit easier. So you can see it is going, looks like to be probably 1 degree at a time. So if you've played with that armor stand plugin that Hermitcraft uses, or you've ever wanted to, there are tons of options in here. Left and right leg, the arm visibilities, the base visibility, the stand visibility, the stand size. All right, so let's see. We went to, can I change it? Oh, I can make it a little one. You can play back and forth. Look at that. Big boomer, little boomer. Big boomer, little boomer. All right, he's a big boomer. So for those of you who love that, Sephi, I love this thing. This is cool. Just a word of caution to all the server staff. If you issue the kill command, you will lose the armor stand. So just be aware of that. If you do a kill all command, and it's a general vague kill all, or kill of any armor stands within the range, you will kill this armor stand for players. And I'm sure you'll have some upset players. So you might want to be thinking about how you're going to handle that. Be careful when issuing kill commands. All right. And there's one other little tool in here where we can actually clone. So let's say I want to duplicate this guy somewhere. All right. I'm going to right click on it so it says pose stored, and then shift right click on the new one. Now I know it's hard to see it because we don't have armor on there, but this pose has now been copied over to the other armor stand. So you can actually, if you're making, let's say, a heart out of nether wart blocks, all right, and you've got it just down to that block and you're using that to make a heart, you're going to be able to copy it and move it over and shift the X, Y, and Z axis to make some pretty cool things. So awesome job, Seffi. I got to tell you, I love it. All right, Fluffy and Simple Utilities. Fluffy Machines and Simple Utilities have both had the same update applied for elevators to where now they will go below Y equals 0. Wasn't a bug, simply 1.18 has finally come out and realized that that's need to be added, so they have added that into both of those add-ons, and they are now ready to go. Also, one other item in Simple Utilities, Riley has added a config option now for balancing the item rates. So by default, it's a 20% chance to get your dust. If you want to change that to a higher rate, you can. Whatever you think is fair on your server. When you're playing with a stack of gravel, going to a gold pan, going to a dust washer, whether manually or through a electric system, around 35% is what you're going to see in dust. Having said that, the Simple Utils is a shortcut from going right from gravel to dust, so you skip those two middle steps. So if you want to equal it out, you could keep a slightly lower percentage because you are gaining that time to get to the dust a whole lot faster. So that's in config.yml. But everything else, guys, I tell you, it's a lot of busy stuff going on this week. Wow, pretty handsome guy in the middle there. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this update. A lot of things going on. I've been watching a couple of devs this week, some projects they're working on. There's some really big things coming. By the way, I want to make sure I don't forget to mention this. Sagan has been updating Galactifun, and I got confirmation just a little while ago that it is fully updated for 1.18. I believe it's the volcanoes, and I can't pronounce the name of the planet or the moon that it's on, Euclideus, I think, are temporarily disabled still. He will be hopefully bringing that back in a later revision. But Galactifun is now 1.18 for those of you who would like to add it. But anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget, when you're playing Slime Fun, you gotta go Boomer or you gotta go home. We'll see you later.